This video is brought to you in part by Stardust. Download the app and start sharing your reactions to movies, trailers, and TV shows today. Make sure to follow Jaby Koay first and tag us in your first video. Hello people, I'm Jaby Koay. Joining us is ACHARA KIRK.
Hello.
Last night we watched Thor Ragnarok and we had a blast watching it. It was a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. We've got some opinions though, both positive and negative. We looked to Stardust to see what people had to say about it in their reviews, and it seems like most people across the board loved it, 5 out of 5 stars. There was a handful of people whose opinions were closer to ours, where they were like, it's good, not great, but good, for reasons we'll get into in a second. Here are some opinions from Stardust.
What's up, team? So last night, Greg and I checked out Thor Ragnarok. I think this movie lived up to the expectations.
Bonkers. This is a perfect usage of the Hulk.
It's easily the best Thor movie out there, which wasn't that hard to do.
Oh my God of Thunder. It was amazing.
It's not quite in my top tier of MCU films. Hela, the villain, she has a lot of potential, but the potential was wasted.
Laughed out loud multiple occasions. It tried to be a bit like Guardians of the Galaxy, and it didn't quite match that level of quality.
You're gonna laugh your ass off. I sure did.
If you want to have your review or reaction featured in one of our future videos, be sure to download Stardust using the link in the description below. Follow us first because we recommended it to you first, and then after you upload your reaction or review, tag us both on Twitter so we both have a better chance at seeing it. And that'll increase the odds that it'll get featured in one of our videos.
Yeah, because we want to hear from you, because honestly, I listen to this guy talk about his opinions all day, and I'm actually way more interested in this point at hearing what you guys have to say.
Yes, she means that. So I would love to hear your opinions as well, because I think that having a video of your opinion is so much more interesting than a comment, because I can hear you, I can see you. I think that just is a much more effective way of communicating how you feel about something. That's my opinion, take it or leave it. If you guys are interested, just download it using the link in the description below. Once again, follow us first. And yeah, and I'm looking.
I just want to see your lovely faces.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing your opinions through the power of the web. Thor Ragnarok, let's get into this. I want to come out of the gate saying that I had a lot of fun watching this.
Yes.
That, like, I want it to be clear that I think that this is a really, really fun movie. You get exactly what is advertised to you. There is no bait and switch going on here. It was a really fun movie.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm saying it was good instead of great is because it was trying a little too hard in certain areas and not hard enough in other areas, and I'll explain more in a second. For a while, it seemed like comic book movies were getting darker and darker, and then Guardians of the Galaxy busted through the gates with this really fun, hilarious film, and then it seems like that's kind of set the tone for a lot of films after that, where everything got more progressively jokey, and it started getting to the point where it was undermining all the drama at every possible turn. Me personally, I would rather have the jokes, much rather have the jokes than not have the jokes, because that makes it a lot more fun and enjoyable to watch. Life is already as serious as it is. However, when it gets to the point that it happens with such frequency that it is predictable, it starts to lose steam. It starts to become less interesting, for me anyway. Because I know that most people don't feel that way. Most people are just happy for it and welcoming it. I also like the music a lot in this.
Yes, the music was so good, actually. I'm glad you mentioned that, because not only the theme song for Thor Ragnarok, but also the song that they used in the trailer. The Led Zeppelin song was so good. All the instrumentals and stuff, spot on.
The cast was great. I loved all the actors in here. Chris Hemsworth brought it. Everyone across the board brought it. Kate Blanchett, Idris Elba, Jeff Goldblum.
Ugh.
Yeah, everybody brought it. They were all a delight to watch. The only thing is, and this is one of the weak points I wanted to mention, even though Kate Blanchett is a powerhouse actress, even though she's amazing, everything she does, I felt like her role was not written as strong. And this is another instance in which Marvel doesn't produce the best villain in their film. And it's especially frustrating because had they done that, I think it would have balanced out the film enough that I would have been fine and I would have called this a great movie. But because of that, because there's too many jokes that were predictable, and one other thing, like the action, half the time I didn't enjoy it quite as much. Like, half the time I loved it.
Yeah.
Half the time the action was great. But the other half, it was like kind of monotonous, or it was too close, I couldn't see it. It was just kind of bloated sometimes. I won't be specific as to what parts I'm talking about, because I want to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. Not that there's a whole lot of spoilers in the film. Overall, I would say, even with all of those flaws, this is still one of the best movies this year. This is still one of the most fun times I've had watching a film in a long time. I just wish they dialed back some of the jokes, improved some of the action, improved the antagonist in the film. and then that would have been great.
Yeah.
I think that it's totally within their means to do all these things. I think that Disney is also like kind of overcompensating in certain areas. They're like, oh, people like jokes, so we're just gonna put more jokes. And I don't think they need to do that. I think that you hit a certain point, just leave it alone.
I think it was an interesting choice for them to go with Taika Waititi as the director.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, because I actually really enjoy his work. I know him a bit from Things We Do in the Shadows, which I thought was a brilliant comedy movie. His brand of humor is that sort of awkward, fish out of water, I'm a little bit weird humor, which is great. I love it. And it really translates in this movie because I could really see his voice coming through.
I want to piggyback on what you were saying. I watched an interview with Chris Hemsworth last night, and he was saying one of his favorite things about Thor was that kind of fish out of water comedy that was brought in the first Thor movie. Like, he really, really wanted to expand on that. And he said he was really proud of this film. A lot of people will say things like that to sell the movie, but I think he genuinely meant it. Like, I think that Chris Hemsworth genuinely loves this film, and it is a blast to watch. And I think Taika Waititi really, really brought a lot to it. His humor is great. He's actually got a role in this film, and he executes it wonderfully. I think his character might have been my favorite character in the movie because it was just that awkward sense of humor.
Loved it.
But they definitely upped Chris Hemsworth, fish out of water, awkward feeling. Like, there was a lot of awkward moments for this character. I'm like, I don't remember this in other Thor movies, but I really like it. It just brought a big smile to my face at the very least.
Well, I think also because of the type of character that Thor is, he's good looking, he's strong, he's the god of thunder.
Yeah.
On paper, he's perfect, right?
Right.
He could be really boring if he didn't have those kind of awkward moments.
Right.
And I think that just makes him more endearing. If he didn't have that, I'd just be like, not interested in him at all.
Overall, I would say this is definitely a good film. Talking about it now, I'm actually like developing even stronger appreciation for it, and it's a movie that I would definitely pick up. However, that being said, I think that you have to watch this in theaters. It's like, that's just the best way to watch this. You'll get the audience laughter along with you. It just makes it more enjoyable watching it with a crowd. But in addition, I'm likely to pick it up because it's definitely up there with my other favorite Marvel movies.
For me, it's not gonna surpass Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, Captain America, Civil War, The Avengers, but it's a really fun movie, so I would watch it again.
Okay. Let me say this, and I might get shit for this. I think that The Avengers is a superior film, right? However, if I was to rewatch anything, I would rewatch this before I rewatch The Avengers.
Really?
I think that obviously, nothing can take the place of the excitement you had watching The Avengers for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Seeing that come together and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of just rewatchability, I think that there's more here for me than in The Avengers. Again, I acknowledge that this is not as good as The Avengers, but I would rather watch this again.
There were good jokes.
There were definitely good jokes. It was a lot of fun. But I mean, I think that Chris Hemsworth is just fun to watch, particularly in this movie. I think he's actually a really talented dude. To me, he's a very likable person. Even watching him in interviews, he just seems like such a cool dude. Now we're gonna dive into spoilers a little bit. I don't even know if there's really much to spoil in this, but I'm just gonna open up the conversation to a little bit more freedom in terms of what we can say and not say now. Again, you guys, if you're just wondering if you should watch it, definitely go watch it in theaters. I would give this a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Definitely go check it out.
Solid.
Okay, so, spoilers.
Is there anything
I don't know. The only thing I'm gonna do now in terms of spoilers is be a little bit more specific with things that kind of bothered me. I will admit in advance that this is me being kind of a nitpicky dude. So try not to get pissed off at me. I know I get pissed off at myself. So for starters, in the beginning, when Thor's dropped down in front of Volstagg, I think that's the character's name, the skull dude who's on fire.
Fiery dude.
There was this funny moment. Let's say that this is Thor, like this is his face, and he spins around, and he goes, oh wait, I can't see you, hold on. Oh yeah, okay, keep talking. And it was funny. The whole theater busted up laughing. But then I had this weird moment where I was like, are they gonna do this joke again?
Yeah.
And they did it again, and I was annoyed. I'm like, why'd they do that a second time? Like, it was funny the one time. You don't have to go a second time. And now you're trying too hard to make me laugh. That's an example of something I saw throughout the movie where it was trying too hard. But on the flip side, there were other hilarious moments. Like when Tom Hiddleston, Loki, is dropped on the floor of the mansion where Doctor Strange is like, and he's like, I have been falling for 30 minutes. I was laughing so hard. Every time Jeff Goldblum said anything.
Yes.
I was laughing. Like, I think that there was definitely funny moments, but like everyone else in the theater was laughing at this, so I know this is more of a me thing. When Bruce Banner was ready to jump out of the plane onto the platform,
oh yeah,
and he's like, You're gonna see who I really am. I was thinking to myself, he's gonna jump out and he's gonna hit the floor as a human being and it's gonna hurt. And then he's gonna turn into the Hulk. And I don't know, it's just that cynical part of me kicked in. And then he did, and it happened, and everyone was laughing except for me, and I'm like, I know, I wanna be laughing too, but I saw the joke coming. And then he turned into the Hulk and the fight started. There was just moments like that throughout that just kind of bugged me a little bit. I'm like, I wish they just kind of dialed it back a little. Every time there was a serious moment, they undercut it with a joke. I love jokes being in these Marvel films because it makes it so much more of a delight to watch in general. But like when Cate Blanchett was giving her epic speech to all these people, saying who she was, and then the Asian dude was like, who are you? And she's like, I literally just said all that, I saw it coming. It's just gotten predictable. Even the non-funny stuff. Anthony Hopkins and Thor are talking. Thor goes, I'm not as strong as you. And he goes, no, you're stronger. I'm like, God damn, like, hello, cliche town.
I mean, it's cliche, but those things are the things we say to, you know, make the hero feel better and fuel him along in his journey. Do you know what I mean? Like, I saw that coming, but it didn't bother me.
But like, just say anything else, or don't say anything at all. That's my feeling. I know that this is nitpicky again, like, but it just was so obvious. I would have rather Anthony Hopkins just smiled and walked off, or said, no, you're wrong, or something else. Like, that's the time for a joke, because it's obvious what you're gonna say next. Cate Blanchett's character was just not as strong. Like, it reminded me of Ronan from Guardians of the Galaxy. It was just like, what are you...
I really hate that happened, because Cate Blanchett is one of my favorite actresses.
She's a powerhouse.
And yeah, she's a powerhouse, and you know, she really gave it. I loved the characterization that she gave, and the voice, and in the movement, she moved so well. But I was just like, wow. Even after all that work that she put into Hela, I felt like the character was still two-dimensional, because she didn't really have all that much to work with. She's the super powerful goddess of death, seemingly indestructible, and just enjoys mayhem.
Yeah, I agree. She just didn't seem to have any layers to her. There was something just not clear about the origin of her with the relationship with the dad. Like, something was just not clear there that needed to be expanded on for us to appreciate her perspective. It needs to be that you can see why your villain believes what they're doing is a good thing. You have to be able to see why your villain feels the way they do, and you can understand that they're in the right in their mind, even though they're not.
Yeah.
Because that's missing, it's hard to appreciate that character. It feels flat. It feels like just a generic villain at that point. And I think that it's totally within Marvel's means to not do that. I feel like it's within Marvel's means to go beyond that and create a more interesting villain. All my favorite Marvel movies, that's the situation. Doctor Strange, for instance. I love Doctor Strange. The main villain was a bore. Like, who gives a shit? The same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, who cares about Ronan? Do you remember Ronan? Like, is he a memorable part of Guardians of the Galaxy? What you remember from that is Chris Pratt dancing, all the jokes with Rocket, like anything with Groot. Like, that's what you remember, or, you know, nothing gets over my head. Yeah. Like, that's what you remember is all that stuff with your heroes, but the villain is not interesting, whereas the complete antithesis is true of The Dark Knight, where the Joker is the most interesting part of that, right? And I wish that we could have both in the same movie, and I'm still waiting for that film. This is closer to it only because Jeff Goldblum was there, and he was an interesting bad guy. Yeah. Even though he's not like a villain, he's an interesting bad guy.
Yeah, but even still, I was just thinking, you know, there wasn't really so much backstory or whatever going on. But I mean, we only have a limited time, and he was a kind of side character. But he was so interesting and just such a treat to watch.
Overall, I would say that I really, really liked Thor, and I'm definitely gonna buy it. I would strongly recommend it still to everybody. I'm sure I'll get some shit in the comments for some of the things I said, but you know, it is what it is. I felt the way I felt. Please, comment below, let us know how you felt about it. Better than commenting, reply to us through Stardust.
Yeah.
And tell us to our faces how you felt about it.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts. Yeah. It's fun as well. You get to connect with your friends. You get to see what other people are saying. And you can also create lists as well.
Right.
So you can add like your favorite movies and stuff that you want to watch.
One great feature that I would say is that they've got this button to let people know whether or not they're looking at a spoiler. Because when you upload your review, you can say whether or not you want it to be a spoiler review or not. This way, it can let other people know in advance before they click on it. It's only 30 seconds, and that's what's great. You can digest a bunch of these at once. It's especially a great way to connect with your friends. If you have a list of friends on there that you follow, you can easily get through all their opinions because they're not allowed to talk for more than 30 seconds. You could also do some fun things. Like, I had fun with my Leatherface review, And I have a review I would like to do for The Mummy. I don't actually know if I'm gonna do it or not, but if I do, I've got something great in mind that I would not do in one of these traditional reviews. So I highly recommend it, even if you're not like trying to be a professional reviewer. It's a fast, easy way to connect with everybody and share your opinions on films. So check it out. Download Stardust using the link in the description below. Follow us first, and when you upload a reaction or a review, tag us both on Twitter. That's it for now. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, you guys. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.